afternoon, everybody. Just for those who don't know me, I'm Mayor Tim Dougherty of Morristown. To my right is Chief Peter Demons, the Morristown Police Department. Detective Sergeant Oakley to his right. To my left, Allison Deeb, Councilwoman, Morristown. Michael Elms, Councilman, Morristown. My town attorney, Beach Bar, and we all know Sakina Cole, all the way to our left. It's a beautiful sunny day, but that's not why we're here. In case you're not aware of it, just a few moments ago I was even told there's an active shooting in Nashville, Tennessee, at a movie theater. The shooter is down, and what I'm being told so far is one injury, maybe no deaths, but the shooter is dead, and that's as of we speak right now in Nashville, Tennessee. So this is something that we're obviously hearing way too much of all the time. In the last, especially the last year, with as many mass shootings and incidents we had. But we're here to talk about two things. One is there's a lot of news reports out there of something that happened late last week. There was a man arrested. His name was Andrew Fitzmayer. He was arrested at Headquarters Plaza. He was arrested with concealed weapons that he was not licensed to carry. Today we had a meeting with the Morris County Prosecutor's Office for about an hour and a half this morning to get our updates on what's going on prior to this incident taking place and his arrest last week. Before we go into more details, so there's more information out to the public, I'd like the police chief to say a few words based on what they've been doing over the last number of days since this incident. So if we can have police Demons come up and just say a few words on what his organization is doing as we speak.
Good afternoon. Immediately subsequent to the arrest of that individual, we were in contact with Headquarters Plaza Security for a plan for additional security at the Headquarters Plaza complex. We've also increased patrols at the Headquarters Plaza complex and any other area that we thought might need extra security. I think it's also, there's an important piece of information that everybody should be aware of so that they understand that it's truly a community and police partnership. That's what crime prevention is. And the fact of the matter is that a non-sworn police officer, a citizen, noticed something unusual and called authorities, and immediate action was taken, which resulted in the arrest of this individual. And since September 11th, as I recall, there's always been slogans. See something, say something. There's all different kinds of slogans, but the bottom line is that it is the general public that usually alerts authorities. And walking by and shrugging your shoulders and saying it's somebody else's responsibility is not the way to go. This person alerted authorities, and this man was arrested as a result.
I'm sure you may have a couple questions for the chief afterwards. Let me also be clear one of the reasons why we're here. One of the reasons is, upon this gentleman's release, there has been a lot of emails sent to my office and other law enforcement agencies on whether a psych evaluation, mental health evaluation was done on this gentleman prior to release. It is my understanding after my long meeting this morning with the prosecutor's office that was not done. They argued that it should be done. The judge did not order a psychological evaluation of this person. I think that's wrong. I believe the counsel, the lawyer, and the police chief and the police department probably think it's wrong. And I'm going to ask other mayors to join me. I've reached out to many today, but short notice, we did this in a short period of time after our meeting with the prosecutor's office, is that we join together and ask our state legislators to consider creating a law that if you are arrested for concealed weapons in any public area where public gathers, children, schools, theaters, daycares, any area, that if you get caught with concealed weapons, that it's mandatory that a psychological evaluation is given to that individual prior to bail and release. So that's really the main focus of this, is to try to get the message out. I do not believe there's any legislation pending for that. There is some legislation pending for psychological evaluations prior to gun permit process. That's been pending since, I believe, 2013. This is not about Second Amendment rights. This is about an individual who was arrested for unlawful possession of firearms in a public place. Also, let me congratulate, or not congratulate, but thank the Morris County Prosecutor's Office for doing everything they can by the letter of the law. Their bail was the highest set they could for this charge. They argued for psych evaluation. It was rejected by the Superior Court judge, and we're here to say that we don't think that was the right choice. A lot of law enforcement agencies are receiving emails and questions. The public is safe. The police have been on this since day one, in constant contact with Headquarters Plaza, doing patrols throughout the town and areas. We want to make sure that the public knows that people are safe. This man has been released, but it's not going to be released and forgotten. Saying that, I'll take a few questions, or if the chief has anything more they want to add, feel free to ask me questions.
Can you tell us a little bit more about how this man was reported, who reported him, and what was suspicious that tipped him off?
Actually, the matter is still under investigation, and that's something that you need to direct to the Morris County Prosecutor.
So what we can tell you is what you've been released already by the Morris County Prosecutor's Office, that the man was arrested with 2 firearms, ammunition, and some other material, and he shouldn't have had that stuff on him. And, thank God he was arrested when he was.
Chief, you said it was a non-sworn police officer, the citizen?
Right.
Is that what you said?
It's a citizen, civilian.
So was it
I'm sorry.
like an auxiliary police officer?
No, it's a civilian versus a sworn police officer.
It was a civilian.
Yes.
So that brings us to another question of levels of education for first lines of defense in any area in law enforcement. And security guards are usually the first level in hotels and in places that people gather. And it's important that even security guards are educated to the fact that this is stuff that we see every day, different parts of our country dealing with this issue of stuff that's going on. Like I said, we started this what's going on in Nashville, Tennessee as we speak. So thank God that nothing happened in Morristown. We are very grateful for that. We don't know what the intent was. We're not law enforcement. We're not doing the investigation the Morris County Prosecutor's Office is. We thought this was the easiest way to get to the public because they're asking a lot of questions. The Morris County Prosecutor's Office did their job well. We had a great meeting with them this morning. They educated us on the do's and don'ts, what we can do, and that's what we're doing. We're trying to educate the public on what happened, and maybe try to get in the ears of assemblymen and state legislators to look at changing the process and take the discretion out of the judge's hands when it comes down to unlawful possession of firearms, and have that person psychologically evaluated.
This evaluation would be required before they could be released on bail?
That would be my position, that it would be required, mandatory, that if you're, especially, it's just common sense. If you're in a public place and you see all this stuff that's going on in the movie theaters, there was no movies going on at the time at Headquarters Plaza, but it's common sense that, if you're in a public place, in a hotel lobby or anywhere around that area where there's movie theaters or daycares or people gathering, that if you're there with a bag with weapons that you're not entitled to have or concealed and not allowed to carry, that's a serious violation, a serious crime. And I think that's not a big lift for any agency or any court of law or any state legislator to say, hey, let's err on the side of safety first. I don't want to be having a press conference down the road and saying, hey, they let somebody go who should have had a psychological evaluation.
Chief, did that...
Question, we just confirm. Was it true that he had 2 Glock handguns, and he also had a badge on him, and he also had a vest that he was actually wearing the vest, and he also had a nightstick, one of those retractable ones, and he also had munitions in that bag, which were illegal. If we would just, that's what I've read, and I understand he's from EPAC Gladstone. Was he charged fully with everything he could have been charged with, given the possession of what he had?
I think it's a fair question, and the Morris County Prosecutor's Office has released what they've released, and you've read in different papers locally. I'll let the town attorney answer the question on legality.
Unfortunately, it is an active investigation by the prosecutor's office. There may or may not be additional charges that could arise out of these incidents. So we can't comment on the specifics beyond what the prosecutor's office has already released as far as other items that may have been found.
So they had maximum bail in accordance with what he was charged with.
That's correct.
And there may be additional charges. But
It may or may not be, but the investigation is ongoing.
and the reality is, here's a man who fits the profile. We have just come out of Texas. We've just come out of Colorado. We're looking at Nashville, Tennessee. The theater wasn't actively engaged, and but for the extraordinary work done by the police department in conjunction with the community, this could have been another active reporting nationally in our own community. And I will state this, that if this judge, Judge Stephen Taylor, he has broad discretion, the fact that he did not order a psychiatric